Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, September 15th, I think. It's about 8:30 in the morning. There's still dew on the ground. Last night it was below 60 again. I didn't expect that, but it was like 58 degrees when I woke up. And so I delayed going to the field. I didn't want it to be too cold for me, you know. Anyway, this is the last move of this row. I'm going to do a little bit of math with you guys. This wire's too low, but yeah. A little bit of math. So I do twice daily moves every morning and evening. I have 60 acres and the field is 2,560 feet in the north-south direction and 1,008 feet in the east-west direction. And those are survey feet, not the feet that you're used to. There's a small difference. It's a very small difference between actual feet and survey feet. You just call the field half a mile long and 1,000 feet wide. Multiply those two numbers, you get 60 acres, right? Or 59.98 or whatever it is. Anyway, so what I do is I take these rows, I build them 1,000 feet wide rows, or they're 1,000 feet long in the east-west direction. We're facing like due west right now, because you can tell by my shadow. And I divide them into 7 divisions, right? So each division is about 150 feet, right? 7 times 150 feet is a little more than 1,000, right? And I decide to move them every Monday morning and every Thursday evening. So that gives me 3.5 days per row. The question is, how many feet wide do I give them on a row? And in the heyday of grass in the spring, when it's growing, it's thick. If I gave them 100 feet wide, that would be more than enough for them. When there's a drought and nothing's growing, I can give them 1,000 feet wide and it still wouldn't be enough grass for them. So I've been giving them, for this row, this is 150 feet wide. The last row I gave them 200 feet, which was too much. So this is about right. And this last part of this row is kind of not as good as the rest of the row was. There's still some stuff here. But they're probably gonna finish up this row here and say, hey, I'm still a little hungry. And they might do a little back grazing, or hopefully by the time they realize they're out of grass, I open up the new row in the evening and they get a fresh new row of grass. Anyway, this is part of the burned out portion of the field. There was a fire here on July 14th, 2022. I don't know what caused it. I think it started in that forest there, and it spread rapidly. That morning on July 14th, we had a little bit of a lightning storm. It could have been that. It could have been the fence, because it was super dry. A cricket or a grasshopper would short the fence typically. And maybe it turned into a burning ember and fell, which I doubt. Electricity doesn't work that way on this fence, but that's a possibility. Another possibility is we had spontaneous combustion. It's known that hay that you harvest too early and you leave it in certain conditions will spontaneously combust. Probably has to do with the decomposition and all that kind of stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, regardless, this field burned. You can't really tell that it burned. It just looks like it's really dry, which it has been, you know. It looks like other parts of my field that haven't burned, except there's a lack of goatweed, which is one reason. Like the goatweed, you can see here, this is the remains of the goatweed. Just burned. You know, the goatweed wasn't growing, nothing was growing, you know, because we had the drought. But anyway, this is that part of the field, and that's what it looks like here. Anyway, so 2,500 feet, half a mile. If I do 100 foot, more or less, like it's 103 or something like that, then I can do 24 rotations, which is 12 weeks, right? So 24 rows, I'm sorry, which is 12 weeks of rotations before I get back to the beginning. If I do 200, that's 6 weeks. If I do 150, that's 9 weeks, right? In between 6 and 12 there. This is my neighbor's pasture that they let me graze on. I don't know if they still like me after the fire or not. Their field burned. This is the pasture that they don't graze. They just mow it every once in a while. They like to keep it natural. They like the birds. I like birds too. So anyway, this is the pasture. It took a long time to recover after the rain. And what I'm thinking of doing is keeping this 20 acres back here as kind of a winter stockpile. I'll call it a spring stockpile. So when the spring grass comes up, it's too green and the cows get diarrhea. They can't digest it fast enough. They need to eat old grass or hay along with the new grass to help them slow down their digestive system. So that's probably what I'll do. Anyway, guys, let's go take a look at the ducks and then I'll be out of here because they're still near the ducks. I don't know if that interests anybody, but that's what it looks like when a cow poos. Let me go check out that poo patty. That could be not decent. Could be too liquidy. Yeah, that's too liquidy. And the flies, they swarm the poo right when it lands to get their eggs in there. And then the larvae hatch and eat the poo. And then like a month later you get flies. I don't know how many days it is later. It's like a couple weeks. Here's our duckies and our geesies. All right, guys, signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.